Greetings, dear Aries. It's me, your tarot reader, Angelica. Today is the second reading for April 2025. I have chosen a particularly vibrant deck. Where I am right now, it's quite hot, and I really want you to have the same wonderful sunny mood. Well, let's take a look. So the three most important events of April for you, Aries. The first important event that had a significant impact on the course of history. The second, and the third very important event. Well, let's move on. Let's explore the exciting opportunities and challenges awaiting you in the professional sphere, where your skills and talents can truly shine. So what is awaiting you in the professional sphere in April 2025 and what your income will be in the near future, we'll also look at with this deck. And of course, your personal life. What exciting developments are in store for you in your personal life and relationships in April 2025? We'll also look at what you should pay attention to in terms of health in April, and of course the advice from the cards for you for April 2025. So everything is ready. Let's begin. The first important event, the King of Wands. As I look at this deck, I want to say, winners, just winners. That's how bright and colorful this card is. And here we also have the Six of Cups. And the third important event, it's the Five of Swords. Well, I just want to tell you that most likely there will be some situation, more likely than not. I will not focus right now on whether this will be the first, second, or third event. I don't know. Essentially, these are the important events that will occur in April, but in what sequence, that is unknown. And the association that came to me with the King of Wands as victors, it apparently didn't come just like that, because 100% in April, one of the important events will be a very challenging match for you with someone who is clearly devising some moves, some strategies to either destroy you, set you up in a trap, drag you into a trap, or to conflict with you. There will be a desire to inflict certain harm on you. However, as I told you with the King of Wands, you will be able to emerge as victors. Moreover, here and at the bottom of the deck, there is an Ace of Swords, which is a card of triumph and victory, although the match ahead of you is quite challenging. Most likely you will be cutting someone off from yourself. Those individuals who, let us consider for a moment, were in your field of vision or who were perhaps close to you, however, in April, are most likely to treat you very poorly. So be prepared for this challenge by anticipating potential obstacles and be ready to take the hit, so to speak, by understanding the risks involved, or you'll have to play this calculated, measured, and absolutely unemotional game where every move is strategic. Only in this way will you be able to achieve victory. And only after you endure this game, which may be very difficult and tense, according to the Six of Cups, will you reach that emotionally comfortable and safe zone where you will understand that you did it, you have nothing to fear, everything is opening up for you everywhere, and you are the victors, you have achieved a great deal. And according to the King of Wands, this means fame, success, honor, rising to a higher level, and achieving a lot. This card also indicates that you will be able to take control of a certain situation. You will be able to master this situation. You won't be able to, and by the way, you will also be required to have the ability to control yourself, to show willpower, and to make a very important decision. You will be able to do this because you have very strong and powerful cards here. Also pay attention, there might be an important event related to the King of Wands, such as a meeting, acquaintance, interaction, resolving some issues, or receiving help or advice from the King of Wands. And this is a person who might be in power, a very charismatic individual who is well respected and admired with certain capabilities, and this person can help you in resolving a difficult situation. Well, if it's just an acquaintance, it will be an extremely beneficial acquaintance for you with a wide range of skills and abilities. And I'll tell you a little more here about the events related to the Six of Cups. This card is considered a card of nostalgia, a return either to the past or the past returning to your life. But here, it's not so much about the past itself, but rather people from the past who may come into your life at this stage. That is, these will be meetings with people you haven't seen in a long time. It could be just meeting and talking, or perhaps doing some things together. So this card suggests that perhaps old acquaintances might potentially make an appearance, or you might possibly meet your neighbors, friends, like-minded people, classmates, or group mates. And of course, there will be communication with them and pleasant interactions. But these people from the past can also help you solve a difficult problem. These are people who will not just appear in your life for no reason. They will come with a specific purpose. After they accomplish this task with you, they might bring you some news or information, help you or something else. Most likely, each of you will go your own way in your life, but also note, the Six of Cups can still be a significant and important event for someone. It's like returning to the house where you grew up, or going back to your childhood home and meeting friends and relatives there again. In general, the Six of Cups is a card of true happiness, a card of joy, a card of well-being. And of course, if for someone this naturally plays out as perhaps returning to the fond house where you grew up or to your cherished childhood home, then it will likely be either for a reason, or you returned and threw a party in honor of your return, or you will be celebrating some significant date that is important for your beloved family members, and then you return with the purpose of attending this joyous celebration where friends and family gather together to celebrate this occasion. So these are the kinds of events, but let's look further at what awaits you in your professional activities. And here is the High Priestess. What awaits you in terms of income? Well, initially I assumed that most likely these events related to the Five of Swords and the King of Wands would pertain more to professional activities. And with the High Priestess in terms of work, this could manifest as some kind of secret, some mysteries, something unclear, like a web of intrigue being woven behind your back. And there might potentially be a situation, as described here by the Five of Swords, where there will be hidden aspects or factors, but according to the High Priestess. And it's exceptionally important not to take any risky steps or make any rash decisions, because there is absolutely a lot you don't understand or see. It is hidden from you. However, with the Priestess, your intuition will work very well. Therefore, listen to your intuition. Your intuition will work well specifically in terms of preventing you from making a mistake or falling into a trap that has been set for you. This is very important. If, for example, the Five of Swords plays out in another area of your life, as we have not yet revealed two cards, then the High Priestess in work indicates that you will be deeply immersed in the work process. The work will likely require your patience and perseverance, and there may be a lot of work with a large amount of information or paperwork, possibly even with some secret texts. But it may also present itself as a necessity, or in some cases you might already be undergoing professional development, or educational matters will be relevant for you. It's not necessary to go to university, but it could be perhaps, for example, working and taking some courses or learning something new or finding a mentor. Therefore, this question can also be very relevant in terms of development, self-development, and learning. Because essentially, the High Priestess clearly indicates that goals or successfully completing work or realizing one's ambitions can only be achieved through knowledge and understanding and information in order to succeed. And by the way, as you may already know, this information will still be needed by you, because most very likely in your professional environment, the Five of Swords will play out when someone will be weaving some intrigues behind your back, dragging you into conflicts and acting inappropriately towards you, and let's say in relation to your professionalism or even your honor and possibly even your dignity. But I think that everything will turn out fine, so to speak, because everything that happens at work will not affect your financial well-being in any way. On the contrary, the Nine of Pentacles indicates that you will have financial prosperity, which means that you will uncover any complex task or intrigues, solve any difficult problem, and as I mentioned, you will emerge victorious and achieve a lot. Therefore, in terms of finances, everything is going well for you here. This is, a secondary indicator that you will be winners. You will not get involved in any intrigues or conflicts. And in terms of finances, there is stability, prosperity, and material wealth. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of abundance, so there is a constant source of income and security, and nothing, so to speak, will affect your quite high level of income. But undoubtedly, naturally, you must understand that you should not just sit idly by, because you also have a lot ahead of you, and being immersed in work and the learning process is important for you, and studying, systematizing, and analyzing a lot of information will also be important for you. That is, money will come to you as a result of your efforts, development, and hard work. Well, good, let's move on. Next, what awaits you in your personal life? Ten of Swords. Here, the Five of Swords may play out either in your professional activities or in your personal life. Therefore, I will explain in detail about these two cards and how they might interact. And for those who are in a couple, for those in long-term relationships, the Ten of Swords indicates that there is a conclusion happening here, some kind of ending and destruction. In general, the Ten of Swords is a card of destruction. And here there might be a breakup, it could be some kind of conflict, or again, it could be some intrigues that are being woven behind your back, and at some point you will find out about it. And it hurts you so deeply that you cannot forgive. And the breakup, divorce, separation, is like a bolt from the blue. After that, as they say, you need to live in a new paradigm by new rules and seek different meanings and goals in your personal life, because the card, whether it's the Ten of Swords or the Five of Swords, is a very powerful card in terms of its energy of conflict and destruction. When there is no ability to restrain oneself, there is only the desire to hurt, the desire to destroy, the desire to conflict. Here there can be very intense quarrels, very strong conflicts. And of course, the experiences will be very, acute, with a desire to hurt, an inability to reach an agreement, and an unwillingness to compromise. This will be present. It might indeed even be extremely painful, and it will certainly and absolutely hurt both sides. But I always say that we are the creators of our own destiny, and let's say there are many options. There are always many options in our lives, and we are free to choose the path we will take. If you still restrain yourself, if you avoid conflicts, if you seek a wise solution, and after all, these are swords, this is the mental sphere, which means that reason should prevail over emotions, then you can always mitigate the conflict, avoid entering it, find a way out, and exit the conflict if your relationships are important and valuable to you. If not, if anger blinds you, then, of course, as they say, a breakup is not far off. It may, of course, play out this way for those in a couple, those in long-term family relationships. This is some critical situation coming to an end. That is, the Ten of Swords is a card of completion. So, let's say you had conflicts and you found a way out of these conflicts, and this situation is coming to an end, and now you are living by new rules. Maybe there was a very significant problem that was troubling you, a complex situation that specifically concerned your relationships, your family, and you worked on this problem for a very long time, and now it is coming to an end. And generally with the Ten of Swords, it is said that things won't get worse than they are, which means that they will only get better. In other words, a crisis phase or a major conflict is coming to an end, and things will start to get easier. However, for those who are not in a relationship, this card, of course, does not indicate any new acquaintances. And naturally, this month is a time when past relationships still stir your soul, and you are not ready for new acquaintances. You are not ready to open up to new love. All right, let's look further at what awaits you in terms of health, or rather, what you should pay attention to regarding health with the Ten of Pentacles. I would say that in terms of health, everything is fine here. Health is strong. One could even say indeed flourishing, and here both the mood is excellent and the attitude is strong, positive, a fighting spirit, I would say, for one's values, for one's resources. So you will have enough strength and energy both to solve various tasks and to restrain yourself if any unexpected conflicts arise. And these conflicts will either affect your professional activities or your personal relationships. Health is generally good, which is already a significant plus or bonus for you. Well, let's also take a closer look at the advice. Advice from the cards for you for April 2025. Here's the Three of Swords. But before I give the advice, I will also show you the bottom of the deck, another card that participates in our spread. I told you that with the Six of Cups, it might be like returning to your home. So the Four of Wands precisely signifies the native home, returning to the native home, rejoicing, experiencing happiness and enjoyment. This is a card of love, a card of luck, and various kinds of opportunities. So here it can indeed manifest as a trip to your native home or childhood home to see family, friends, to reminisce about the past, discuss future plans, throw a celebration, or it might play out as a card of victory for you in some challenging situation. But also this card can manifest for someone as the value and significance of your union, and by taming, so to speak, the often overwhelming passions, or by approaching any, let's say, conflict situation wisely and with careful consideration, patience and understanding, you can find a good and effective way out of the situation. But of course, the cards show that you have significant fears at the bottom of the deck. Another one that plays a role here is the Nine of Swords. There are some significant fears and worries. Perhaps this is specifically concern for your significant other. Maybe you are far from each other and you are very worried. Perhaps there is concern here that you have quarreled, and there is a certain sense of guilt, a feeling of fear that you do not know how to resolve this crisis situation, how to reconcile, what steps to take. And accordingly, the Three of Swords as advice. It precisely suggests that, first and foremost, no matter what happens in these kinds of situations, you need to remain calm and composed, because emotions will only hinder you. And the advice from the Three of Swords for you is, this is a month of very critical assessment of everything that is happening. Perhaps this thorough and critical assessment will specifically concern your work, and you will need to make a very important decision in a manner that is both thoughtful and deliberate. It might also specifically affect your personal life. But in any case, the Three of Swords indicates that you need to approach solving important tasks for you very soberly, and most likely you will have to make some painful decisions. That is, you need to soberly consider what would be reasonable specifically for you, and take a very decisive step towards this reasonable solution. And this can be both difficult and bitter, but nevertheless here you need to ally with your wisdom, your strength of spirit, and accordingly make important and complex decisions. They will be difficult to make because, the rose-colored glasses have fallen off and you are faced with a reality that does not match the truth. You may become very disappointed in someone, and being disappointed in someone, you will understand that you and this person are no longer on the same path. And if you're not on the same path, you need to make some decision. Either break off the relationship with this person, or find a way to continue interacting. But as a rule, all signs point to the fact that there will be breakups here. You might potentially part ways with a colleague or even a partner. Unfortunately, perhaps someone will play a dishonest game behind your back in a way that pretends to be your friend. Well, something like that might be happening here. Therefore, as I said, take your wisdom and strength of spirit as allies, and calmly, confidently, with grace, poise, and determination, navigate through this month, the month of April, and remember that any victory is achieved through certain trials. As for you emerging as winners, there is no doubt about that. This is the forecast for you, dear Aries, for April 2025 and beyond. Subscribe to the channel Terra and Life. I will be very glad. Well, I thank you for watching. See you tomorrow, as always, on the channel Terra and Life. With love, your Angelica. Hugs to you and goodbye.